Imagine a night where everything you know shatters in an instant. This is the story of Sarah, and a night that started with laughter but ended in chaos. It was just a regular Friday. Sarah was at a downtown festival, the air filled with music and the smell of popcorn. She was with friends, enjoying the last warm days of summer, feeling completely safe and carefree. No one could have predicted how the atmosphere would shift from joyous to terrifying in the blink of an eye. Suddenly, a wave of panic swept through the crowd. Shouts replaced the music. People started running, a stampede of fear. Confusion turned to terror as Sarah realized something was terribly wrong. In the distance, she could see flashes and hear sounds that didn't belong at a festival. It was a scene of pure pandemonium. Her friends were scattered, swallowed by the panicked mob. Sarah was alone, her heart pounding against her ribs like a drum. In that moment of sheer terror, every instinct screamed at her to run, to hide, to become invisible. But then she saw it. A small child, no older than 5, had fallen and was about to be trampled. The girl's mother was a few feet away, pushed back by the surging crowd, her face a mask of horror. Without a second thought, Sarah pushed against the tide of fleeing people. She fought her way to the little girl, shielding her with her own body. It felt like an eternity, with feet and bodies rushing past them, but Sarah held her ground. She managed to scoop up the crying child and push her way towards the mother. The reunion was a brief, tearful embrace before they were all swept away again. But in that act, something inside Sarah changed. The fear was still there, a cold knot in her stomach, but it was no longer in control. She saw an elderly man who had dropped his cane, disoriented and vulnerable. She guided him to the relative safety of a storefront, making sure he was out of the direct path of the chaos before moving on. All around her was a blur of flashing lights from police cars and ambulances. The night was a symphony of sirens. Sarah wasn't a superhero. She was just an ordinary person who chose not to be a bystander. She helped where she could, offering a steady hand to someone who stumbled, a calm word to someone hyperventilating, pointing people towards the makeshift safe zones the police were setting up. She stayed standing when the night turned violent, not because she was fearless, but because her compassion was stronger than her fear. Hours later, when the chaos subsided, the scene was one of disbelief. The festival grounds were littered with remnants of a party abruptly ended. Sarah finally reconnected with her friends, all safe but shaken. They looked at her with a new kind of respect. She hadn't single-handedly stopped the violence, but she had refused to let it extinguish her humanity. She had stood tall against the darkness, becoming a small but powerful beacon of hope for those around her. This story isn't about the violence itself, but about the incredible strength we find within ourselves when faced with the unimaginable.